Welcome to the nation's Leaders from Coast to Coast podcast. I am your host, George J. Jefferson, and I am an AI. This podcast is written by and recorded by AI Technologies. Each day we will profile one politician and other government officials in a completely random order. You can follow us at pointedwords.com, and remember, better pointed words than pointed swords. Now, let's get started with today's profile of Governor Kristi Noem, the Republican leader of South Dakota. Kristi Noem biography. Kristi Noem, the Republican governor of South Dakota, has served as the state's leader since 2019, becoming the first woman to hold the office in the state's history. Born on November 30, 1971, in Watertown, South Dakota, Noem was raised on her family's ranch and farm in Hamlin County, an upbringing that shaped her values and work ethic. Noem's career has been marked by her dedication to conservative principles, rural communities, and limited government. Her leadership during pivotal moments, including the COVID-19 pandemic, has made her a prominent figure in both South Dakota and national politics. Noem grew up in a tight-knit farming family, where she learned the importance of hard work and self-reliance. Tragedy struck in 1994 when her father was killed in a farming accident. At just 22 years old, Noem left college to take over her family's ranch and other businesses, stepping into a leadership role during a challenging time. Her experience managing the family's operations gave her first-hand knowledge of the difficulties faced by small businesses and rural communities. Years later, Noem returned to school while running the ranch and raising her family, ultimately earning her degree in political science from South Dakota State University in 2012. Her personal journey of resilience and determination laid the groundwork for her entry into public service. She was first elected to the South Dakota House of Representatives in 2006, representing the 6th District. During her time in the state legislature, Noem focused on issues such as property tax reform, agriculture, and economic development, building a reputation as a pragmatic and hardworking legislator. In 2010, Noem ran for South Dakota's at-large congressional seat in the U.S. House of Representatives, successfully unseating Democratic incumbent Stephanie Herseth Sandlin. Her campaign emphasized limited government, fiscal responsibility, and support for South Dakota's agricultural community, which resonated with voters across the state. Noem served in Congress from 2011 to 2019, during which she gained recognition for her work on tax reform, rural health care, and veterans issues. She served on influential committees, including the House Ways and Means Committee, where she played a key role in shaping national tax policy. In 2018, Noem ran for governor of South Dakota, defeating her Democratic opponent Billy Sutton in a closely watched race. Her election marked a historic moment as she became the state's first female governor. As governor, Noem has focused on strengthening South Dakota's economy, supporting agriculture, and promoting conservative values such as limited government and personal responsibility. Noem's leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic drew national attention for her decision to reject statewide lockdowns and mask mandates. She emphasized individual freedoms and personal responsibility, arguing that South Dakotans should have the right to make their own decisions regarding health and safety. Her approach was praised by conservatives who viewed it as a defense of liberty, while critics argued that it downplayed the severity of the pandemic and put lives at risk. Regardless of perspective, Noem's handling of the pandemic made her a national figure and a potential contender for higher office within the Republican Party. Under her leadership, South Dakota has consistently maintained a business-friendly environment, with low taxes and minimal regulations. Noem has worked to attract businesses to the state and promote job creation, particularly in the agriculture, tourism, and manufacturing sectors. She has also championed initiatives to support farmers and ranchers, including efforts to expand trade opportunities and improve agricultural infrastructure. Noem has been a vocal advocate for protecting South Dakota's rural character and values, emphasizing the importance of family, faith, and community. She has supported legislation to strengthen Second Amendment rights, restrict abortion access, and uphold conservative social policies, aligning closely with the priorities of her Republican base. Kristi Noem resides in Pierre, South Dakota, with her husband, Brian, and their 3 children. Known for her hands-on leadership style, she frequently visits communities across the state, engaging directly with residents and listening to their concerns. Her deep connection to South Dakota's people and her unwavering commitment to conservative values have made her a trusted and influential leader in the state. Kristi Noem. Why people support her. Governor Kristi Noem enjoys strong support from conservatives and South Dakotans who value her dedication to individual freedoms, economic growth, and rural values. One of the primary reasons people support Noem is her handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Her decision to avoid statewide lockdowns and mask mandates resonated with those who prioritize personal liberty and oppose government overreach. Supporters view her approach as a bold stand for individual rights and a model of conservative governance during a challenging time. Noem's focus on economic development has also earned her widespread praise. She has worked to maintain South Dakota's reputation as a business-friendly state, attracting new industries and promoting job creation. Her efforts to support agriculture, tourism, and small businesses reflect her commitment to strengthening the state's economy and ensuring opportunities for its residents. Her dedication to rural communities is another key reason for her popularity. Noem's background as a rancher gives her a deep understanding of the challenges faced by farmers and rural families. She has consistently advocated for policies that support agriculture, protect natural resources, and preserve South Dakota's rural way of life. Many conservatives admire Noem for her commitment to traditional values. She has supported legislation to strengthen gun rights, restrict abortion access, and uphold conservative social policies. Her strong stance on these issues has made her a favorite among Republican voters in South Dakota and across the nation. Finally, Noem's leadership and resilience have inspired many. Her personal story of overcoming adversity and stepping into leadership at a young age resonates with voters who appreciate her determination and work ethic. Supporters see her as a principled and effective leader who is deeply connected to the people she serves. Kristi Noem. Why people don't support her. While Governor Kristi Noem is popular among conservatives, she faces criticism from opponents who disagree with her policies and leadership style. One of the main criticisms of Noem is her handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Opponents argue that her decision to reject statewide lockdowns and mask mandates downplayed the severity of the pandemic and put lives at risk. Critics contend that her approach prioritized political ideology over public health and created unnecessary divisions during a crisis. Noem's focus on conservative social policies has also drawn criticism, particularly from progressives and moderates. Her strong stance on issues such as abortion, LGBTQ+ rights, and gun control has been viewed by some as out of touch with evolving social norms and priorities. Opponents argue that her policies do not reflect the diversity of views within South Dakota or the nation. Her approach to economic development has faced scrutiny as well. While her supporters praise her efforts to attract businesses, critics argue that her focus on reducing regulations and taxes may come at the expense of funding for education, healthcare, and other critical public services. Some constituents feel that more resources should be directed toward addressing the needs of low-income families and underserved communities. Noem's rising national profile has also drawn criticism from those who feel she is prioritizing her political ambitions over the needs of South Dakota. Opponents argue that her frequent appearances at national conservative events and speculation about a potential run for higher office may distract from her responsibilities as governor. Finally, some constituents have expressed concerns about her partisan approach to governance. Critics contend that her leadership style sometimes prioritizes ideological purity over bipartisan collaboration, making it harder to address complex issues facing the state. Despite these criticisms, Kristi Noem remains a prominent and influential figure in American politics. Her dedication to conservative principles and her focus on economic growth and individual freedoms ensure that she will continue to play a significant role in shaping South Dakota's future and the national Republican agenda. Thanks for listening, and remember to join us at pointedwords.com, where you can follow the podcast and join in the discussion.